All right, let's get right into it. Welcome to this explainer, where we are unpacking a seriously incredible scientific investigation, one that uncovered a massive blind spot in global aviation safety right over one of Africa's busiest flight hubs. If you've ever wondered just how much punishment a modern commercial jet engine can actually take, or honestly how our absolute West global data models can sometimes completely miss the mark, well, you are in exactly the right place.
Imagine trying to fly a massive commercial jet through what is essentially liquid sandpaper. When an aircraft operates in certain environments, it's not just slicing through clean air, it is sucking in a staggering volume of microscopic rock. But here's the wild part. For years, the true scale of this physical hazard at Cairo International Airport was completely off the radar.
So, here's the mystery we're dealing with today. Back in 2024, there was a landmark global aviation study that assessed dust ingestion at major airports all over the world. They used 17 years of advanced satellite data to rank the most dangerous environments for aircraft engines. But they completely missed Cairo. Despite its extreme weather and its location right next to the massive Sahara Desert, it was entirely excluded. How does one of the busiest airports in Africa, practically buried in sand, just slip through the cracks of modern science? Here's our roadmap for figuring this out. We'll start with the invisible aviation hazard, move into Cairo's compound dust regime, talk about fixing the data blind spot, quantify the actual dust dose, look at a fascinating COVID-19 dust experiment, and wrap up with how we prepare for safer skies. Okay, Section 1, the invisible aviation hazard. Let's break down the actual mechanical threat to these aircraft engines. We usually think of weather threats to flying as things like heavy turbulence or thunderstorms, right? But mineral dust aerosol operates on a totally different, purely physical level. This stuff is actually destroying the engines from the inside out. We're talking about the progressive, literal grinding down of compressor blades. It erodes the protective thermal barrier coatings inside the turbine. And in really extreme cases, the intense heat inside the engine actually melts the airborne sand into silicate glass, which then bakes right onto the high-pressure turbine parts. This drastically shortens the lifespan of an engine, tanks its fuel efficiency, and ends up costing airlines an absolute fortune in unexpected overhauls. Moving to Section 2, Cairo's compound dust regime. Let's look at the incredibly unique environment of Cairo International Airport. So Cairo doesn't just deal with a random dusty day here and there. It faces a compounded, three-layered atmospheric threat. It's basically a triple threat environment. First, you have a quasi-permanent background layer of dust, just constantly blowing in from the Sahara. Second, from March to May, they get hit by the Hamasine, these fierce, hot seasonal winds that drag massive quantities of dust northward. And third, haboobs. These are sudden, massive convective walls of dust pushed forward by thunderstorms further south. Just to picture the sheer intensity here, consider what happened on August 25, 2019. A sudden haboob rolled right over Cairo International Airport. These things can spin up in just 30 to 60 minutes. It created a near-vertical wall of dust a kilometer high and dropped surface visibility to literally 0 meters. Pilots absolutely could not see a thing. That is the extreme reality of operating in North Africa. Let's jump to Section 3, fixing the data blind spot. Exactly why did the models fail so badly? If the weather is that intense, how does a major global satellite model completely miss a literal zero visibility wall of sand? Well, the answer comes down to how satellites see our world. Standard models, like the widely used Muro 2 satellite system, look down from space in these huge 55-kilometer blocks. But Cairo is home to around 20 million people. When the natural Saharan dust mixes with heavy urban pollution like vehicle exhaust or crop burning, the satellite algorithms just get confused. They can't untangle the sand from the smog, so they end up artificially smoothing out the extreme peaks. To actually fix this, researchers had to use Aeronet, a global network of ground-based sensors. By using 14 years of direct physical measurements taken right near the airport, they finally calibrated that flawed satellite data. And the numbers don't lie. When the researchers matched up those 14 years of ground truth with the satellite data, the proof of the model's failure was undeniable. There was a massive systematic bias. The satellites were underestimating the true dust levels by a staggering 33.4% on average. And during the winter, when the urban smog is at its thickest, the satellite was even more blind to the actual mineral threat hiding inside the pollution. Which brings us to Section 4, quantifying the dust dose. Time to uncover the massive hidden risk. With the data finally corrected using those actual physical observations from the ground, we can calculate the real dust ingestion numbers. Let's set a quick baseline first. Before this new ground-truthed study, that 2024 global report had marked Dubai as the absolute worst, highest-risk airport in the world for dust. They figured a standard commercial jet engine ingested about 4.3 grams of dust per landing and takeoff cycle there. That was supposed to be the global ceiling. But get ready for this. When researchers applied the corrected data to Cairo, the results were completely jaw-dropping. An aircraft operating out of Cairo ingests an estimated 79.43 grams of dust per cycle. That is nearly 18.5 times higher than Dubai. It means Cairo occupies a risk position higher than literally any other airport previously assessed in peer-reviewed literature. We are talking about a completely different stratosphere of risk. And here is the craziest twist to that massive number. You'd probably assume most of the sand gets swallowed up high in the air while flying through those massive dust clouds, right? Actually, no. The data shows that about 60% of this ingestion happens right on the ground. It happens during the landing roll, while taxiing to the gate, and while spooling up the engines for takeoff. The air right near the tarmac is just heavily saturated with this abrasive sand. Section 5, the COVID-19 dust experiment. Is aviation itself just causing this dust? So if 60% of the ingestion happens down on the ground, it raises a really valid question. Could the airplanes themselves just be kicking up the dust as they move around? To figure that out, researchers utilized a brilliant, entirely unintentional natural experiment, the COVID-19 lockdowns. Back in early 2020, daily flights at Cairo dropped by about 90%. The airport was basically a ghost town. But when researchers checked the ground truth aerosol measurements during that exact lockdown period, the dust levels remained exactly the same as the years before and after the pandemic. This unequivocally proved that the dust is geogenic. That means it's a constant, entirely natural environmental threat driven by the Sahara and regional weather patterns. It has absolutely nothing to do with the airport's own traffic. Whether there are 1,000 planes taking off a day or 0 planes taking off, that massive 79-gram hazard is sitting right there in the air, just waiting. Finally, Section 6, preparing for safer skies. Let's talk about solutions for the airlines. Obviously, we can't just turn off the Sahara Desert, right? So how does the aviation industry adapt to keep flying safely? Well, operators flying into Cairo need to adopt highly site-specific maintenance protocols. You simply cannot treat an engine flying into Cairo the same way you treat one flying into, say, London. They need enhanced pre-flight inspections, particularly during that intense spring wind season. Planes that have engine particle separators should absolutely be using them here. Airports can modify taxi routes to minimize ground-level exposure. But maybe most importantly, flight ops centers need to start integrating real-time ground data into their daily briefings, rather than relying strictly on those flawed satellite forecasts. This whole investigation into Cairo's invisible hazard leaves us with a seriously fascinating and maybe slightly unsettling final thought. If our most advanced global satellite models could completely miss an 18-fold risk at a massive international hub just because a little urban smog confused their algorithms, what else are we totally blind to right now? What other hidden data gaps exist in the complex global systems, supply chains, and safety models that we all rely on implicitly every single day? It's a great reminder that sometimes to see the real picture, you have to stop looking down from space and just start measuring the dust right beneath your feet. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep asking those great questions, and I'll catch you on the next one.